Is that? Yee! We getting it, boy.
What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay.
Your baller back again. Smells like football season.
Yo. Whoa.
Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. Welcome back, faithful Niner Empire. We have a special episode today of Straight Out of the Bay. We are only going to have 2 out of the 4 Straight Out of the Bay members. But let's say what's up to one of those members tonight. We have Kelts Chronicles in the building. What's good? How you doing tonight, Rich? Oh, you on mute, brother.
Yee!
Right. There we go.
Hey, what up, my man? Hey, it's Victory Monday. So, all is good with me. All is good with the Niners. And here on a good old, Monday. And it's straight out of the Bay. It's 2 of us, but it's all good,
Absolutely. And Mean, the Dream, and Bay Area Baller, they are here in spirit, but we know, life happens and they got to take care of their responsibilities. So we're looking forward to them joining us next week. But Bay Area Baller did record a video for us, so I will be playing that during the show. But this is an interactive show. We will be reading comments throughout the show. Feel free to hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Check out my man Kelts Chronicles here. Make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel if you haven't already. I'm sure you guys already know Kelts, but we got to talk about this 49ers victory. Some would say it was lackluster. Some would say, hey, the 49ers should have scored more points. But I have a question for everyone watching right now. And if you are excited that the 49ers are 5-4, make sure you smash that like button and answer this question for me. Are you encouraged or discouraged after the 49ers victory over the LA Superchargers? Feel free to answer that question in the comment section. And I will ask that to Kelts Chronicles as well, man. Are you encouraged or discouraged after this 49ers game? Let me know, man, and let the people know watching.
I was initially discouraged, just thinking about not scoring in the red zone and just a few other things. But the more I had time to simmer down on it, I'm encouraged. I'm starting to look at a gang of the positives, and these are just some of the reasons. We've lost to not that great of teams throughout the year by creating a lot of penalties, Jimmy Garoppolo bonehead mistakes, just maybe a little bit of philosophy and whatnot. But hey, we found a way to win. We found a way to put points on the board in the second half. We found, we once again shut out the opponent in the second half. And regardless of what people think about the Rams, and of course they're having a meltdown, but they still have Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. They still, and then the Chargers, they have Justin Herbert. And we seen them instantly light us up like from right out the jump, and we were able to shut that down in the second half, 2 weeks in a row. So the defense is starting to play like they were in the beginning of the year with the injuries, with Eric Armstead out, with and so there's a lot of positives. Jimmy was making some outside throws. We've heard this stat come out quite a few times. I don't know if you heard it, but I believe Kyle Shanahan, I think he was 1-30 in the fourth quarter if he was down by 3 points.
Yeah.
And so, hey, that's the second time he's ever led a team, to come back like that. And I think I'm trying to think if we were down in the fourth quarter versus the Rams, but I do know that I'm pretty sure we scored 14 points in that fourth quarter. So I kind of, it's just for me personally and coming off of a bye week, Like, I just feel like everything is still pointing up. Like, it could take a little time to get into some rhythm. One thing I was frustrated to see, and I think I'm always gonna be frustrated to see it, but just the lack of pace. I was saying it during my live. I did a live stream of the game, and then a lot of people are starting to say some of the same things that just this, we're always hiking the ball at 5 seconds, 0 seconds, just a very slow pace. And when you're doing that, and you're also when you're going at a slow pace and you're a run first type of team, of course we're not scoring 34 points, every single game. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's part of our philosophy, I feel like, to just take it easy, go slow. And sometimes I would like to see us ramp it up. I think we did it one time down in the red zone. I was juiced about that, but I'm mostly encouraged. Hey, let's keep stacking these wins, man. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Hey, I dig it. And I gotta say, what's good to everybody that's in the chat right now? We have Wavy, Eric, OYG, Raphael 5629ers, Roberto. Appreciate you guys tuning in to the stream tonight. I will get into let me answer that question now before I get to the super chat. But am I encouraged or discouraged after the 49ers game? I would say that I'm happy that we got the win, of course, right? Of course, we got the win. We're over 500 now. We're at 5-4 heading into next week against the Arizona Cardinals. So obviously thrilled about that. But during the game, the offense was a little lackluster, and I felt like it was deja vu all over again. Like I've said this several times before during the season. Even the drives where the first drive we had of the game, 14 plays, I think it was 67 yards, but we couldn't get the ball into the end zone. And I was just telling myself, we can't beat the upper echelon teams with just scoring field goals. We can't do it. We've got to score a touchdown. So that was disappointing. There are definitely some players who stood out, and we'll definitely get into that. But I was expecting more from the 49ers coming off of a bye week. I know Shanahan's record after the bye week, I think it's only like 2-3. Well, now it's 3-3 since we got the victory. But I was intrigued coming into this game to see how would this 49ers team respond off of a bye week. How would the players respond? Obviously, the coaches had 2 weeks to prepare for this game against the Chargers. And the first half, let's be real. If the defense didn't, stop the Chargers from getting touchdowns and force them to get field goals, we could have easily been down, 21-0. And we know that this offense isn't great when it's playing from behind. But, got to tip my cap to the 49ers defense. I mean, they balled out. They showed why they're still one of the best defenses in the NFL. But I would say I'm encouraged by the defense for sure. The offense, I think we haven't seen our best yet. We haven't seen our best offensive performance for 4 quarters yet. So that's what I would say about that. Encouraged about the win, but I think we still have room to grow as far as this offense, because I think we should be able to score 30 points on every team. No doubt about it with the weapons we have. So maybe my expectations are high, but based on the talent we have, I mean, I think that's reasonable. 30 points a game. Got to get into the super chat from Raphael 5629ers. Hot diggity dog. Appreciate that $2 super chat. He says, "Happy Victory Monday. Who gets the game ball?" And Faithful, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section. Who do you think deserves the game ball? You could do an offensive game ball, a defensive game ball if you like, but who do you think deserves the game ball? And I'll address that question to you, Kelts. Who gets your game ball? It could be one, or it could be one on each side of the ball. What say you, Kelts?
All right, so I would say a Menahue, like, because I did a show this morning. We were talking about unsung heroes. I was actually on the Breezy show this morning, so I was pretty dope. We were talking about unsung heroes, and that was my first dude was a Menahue, and but I'm gonna switch it up right now because On offense, it's Mitchell. And just for him
Yeah.
to come back, and then on defense, it's Jordan Willis because and the reason why I'm picking Jordan Willis now over Emenihu earlier this morning was because he came back after, it's kinda like a little mini comeback player of the year type of little, game award, for Elijah Mitchell and Jordan Willis for them to immediately come back and produce. I just think that's hecka cool. Elijah had something like 17 carries, I think 89 yards just off top of my head. I almost want to pull it up. But then Willis, he also had, I think, 4 tackles, a sack, something else. I can't remember right off top. Pretty sure I could even check it out real quick. He had 4 tackles, a sack, and a tackle for a loss. And yeah, man, it was just good to see those kind of guys come through and produce. Especially we need a little bit more reinforcements on the defensive line. Um, I didn't expect Elijah Mitchell to get that many carries, but it felt like all game long, it was like 8 yards, 8 yards, 8 yards. I'm surprised his average wasn't a little bit higher, but yeah, I'm juiced to see it. And what you were saying earlier, you got me thinking on what you were saying earlier. Man, it's so typically I'm one of those guys. It's like, what the heck? We got all this dang firepower. Why are we better be scoring 30 points? And the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, this is Shanahan, man. Hey, maybe sometimes we'll really score though, but he runs a slow pace. So I'm kind of asking myself a question. Why do I keep expecting certain things when Shanahan continues to show, hey, I'm doing it my way? Most of y'all, we dissect it, right? So, um, a lot of us dissect it and it's hard for us to figure him out because I think that's part of his way. You feel me? It's like, I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to run the ball no matter what anybody says. It's a old school football, no matter what the weapons are, I'm going to still pick and choose when to, do it. And, yeah, man, but those are my 2 guys. Sorry for running on for like 12 minutes. Yeah, man. So it's Mitchell and Willis.
Hey, I appreciate your thoughts on that, man. And
Yeah.
those are great selections. I mean, Elijah Mitchell, I mean, blast from the past, man. Where you been, man? Just imagine if he would have been healthy, all this year. But we might have not traded for CMC. So, everything happens for a reason. But as far as my game ball on offense, I would have to give it to Juwan Jennings. I mean, big his nickname should be, third down specialist, or he is very clutch in those, must have first down situations, and Jimmy trusts him. Jimmy likes to throw to Ayuk. We've seen that, but he likes to go to Jennings on third down, and Juwan Jennings had reliable hands yesterday. I believe he was targeted 4 times, had 4 catches, 40 yards. Longest catch was 12 yards. And I believe 2 or 3 of his catches were on third down. So those are the money downs. And, I know Juwan Jennings isn't flashy. He's not super fast. He does the stare of a Calvin Johnson or nothing like that. But the man shows up, and you can depend on him to make big plays when it really counts. On the defensive side of the ball, my game ball, I mean, I could go many ways. I'm gonna go with Mooney Ward. I think he had an excellent game. I believe he gave up maybe 1 catch, maybe 1 or 2 catches, but I think he played an excellent game. And I think it's great when you have that shutdown corner who can basically shut down his side of the field. And it's up to the corner opposite of him, whether it's Demo Lenore or Samuel Womack, to really step up their game, because they're going to get targeted a lot. Would you rather throw to Mooney Ward, or would you rather, throw to an unproven corner? So Mooney Ward, he's very good in tackling. He's very good, in limiting his receiver to, minimal catches. So I think Mooney Ward was excellent yesterday. And, what a godsend he was getting a free agent corner this offseason. He's definitely lived up to the hype, that's for sure. I'm going to go to some of the people in the comment section. Let's see what they say. Raphael says he is encouraged by this 49ers victory. Let's see. OYG says he is encouraged as well because some of our boys wasn't able to get the job done. The rest of the boys stepped in and carried us that dub. Something that was having a bad day on another game came through this game. Absolutely. Guys showed up and showed out, and they played. OYG says Ayuk dominated. Yeah, man. He had that fumble, and then he, that missed catch in the end zone, but other than that, he played a really good game. Raphael says he's going to give the game ball to Elijah Mitchell. 18 carries. He was the better back out of CMC and him yesterday's game. But yeah, Elijah Mitchell was a beast, man. Elijah Mitchell, he was, getting like 5-6 yards per carry. And I think that's going to be an excellent 1-2 punch. That's for sure. Gotta say, what's good to Brian? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. And also, we got the Snake Sports Talk Show. Me and Jake had a stream. For those that don't know, Jake is a LA Chargers fan. So I appreciate you coming into the stream tonight, Jake. Hope all is well. He says, "What's up, boys? Hey, great game. I said this game will be close, but we are just cursed with injuries. Great game, you guys." Hey, I appreciate the kind words, man. And yeah, that was a great game going back and forth, and great competition. That's for sure. Let's see. Appreciate this $5 super sticker, Blue True. Appreciate you, hot diggity dog. Wavy has a question for us. Appreciate that super sticker as well. He says, how does Ward earn his safety back? Who replaces? What say you, Kelts? Do you think? Well, let me get this question out there. Do you think Jimmy Ward should revert back to his free safety position, or do you think they should keep him at that nickel corner spot?
It's kind of a hard thing to weigh out because I'm going to look at it. I'm going to try to look at it from every angle. And is he better in that safety position? Probably. Yeah. He's probably better there. But when we take Tayshaun, is Tayshaun Gibson better than Ambry Thomas or whoever else we would slide in there? Is Tayshaun Gibson more trusted than Womack? You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's what the issue is. It's like, he's Jimmy Ward is filling in for anybody else who would, take that spot up. So that's kind of the little dilemma right there. So it's kind of, pick, which way do you kind of want to look at it? Does he earn? How does he earn his spot? I don't think it's it's anything Jimmy could do. I think it's about, the 53 men on the field, and they're just doing a business move for the time being. Maybe at some point in time, Kyle will put a little trust in Womack, and who knows? We know how he is with certain rookies, so who knows if that's something that could evolve, or could Ambry Thomas or wind up going outside and Lenore sliding inside. Who knows? But I'm cool with it because Tayshaun Gibson has been, good enough. It feels like he's been good enough. It's not like we're week by week we're talking about, oh man, he got burnt again. Looking at like Dre Kirkpatrick or Josh Norman. I know it's a different position, but it's always like we penciled in. Oh my God, here it goes again. We're constantly, just at a disadvantage getting it's easy for the offense to take advantage of a weakness like that. And it feels like Tayshaun still got game. So yeah, man, that's the way I look at that situation.
Yeah, I think Tayshaun is doing a good job at the free safety spot. In zone coverage, I think that's where he's best suited. I don't think you want to put him in nickel situations where he's man on man against a receiver. That's not Tayshaun Gibson's strong suit. I don't think that's Jimmy Ward's strong suit. I think Jimmy Ward is best suited back at that free safety spot. I don't mind allowing Tayshaun Gibson to, be bench and Jimmy Ward revert back to his spot, but then they would have to trust someone in that nickel corner spot. Clearly, the coaching staff, they trust Jimmy Ward in that nickel spot, but they don't trust Samuel Womack at that position just yet. I mean, going up against the elite slot wide receivers, Jimmy Ward's not going to be able to cover them, I don't think, for the entire game. But that's who they're comfortable with. But if I had my druthers, Jimmy Ward would be back there opposite of Talanoa Hufanga. whether it be a two safety high look or Talanoa Hufanga is in the box and Jimmy Ward is the lone safety, watching the deep plays. But we'll see what happens. Gibson has played well. I think he does have a few interceptions, but I would like to see Jimmy Ward back at his spot. I mean, hell, he was a top 100 player voted by his peers playing that free safety spot. So, I think Ward should be back there, but the coaching staff made the decision, and hopefully Jimmy Ward can continue to work at it and thrive at his his new position, because I don't think he's going back there yet, at least not full time. So, great question though, Wavy. Let's get into. I will continue reading the comments, but let's get into the good that we saw from the game. We spoke a little bit about it, but let's get into it. And Bay Area Baller was kind enough to lend us his thoughts on what he saw that was good from the game. So let's hear from Bay Area Baller.
Let's start off with Jimmy G. Jimmy G limited his no brain farts. And that's what we had been talking about the last couple weeks. Played clean football, made some nice throws. Shout out to Jimmy. He was definitely good. Next up, Eli Mitchell. Eli Mitchell coming back from the knee injury. I was concerned, is he going to be all the way back, right? Has he lost a step? No. Eli Mitchell looks good. Love to see it. Juwan Jennings, multiple clutch third down catches, making plays. The dude's tough as nails. Shout out to Juwan. He was good. Charles Omenihu was getting a lot of reps on the outside, and then in pass rushing situations, he was playing inside, making plays, had a sack. Thought Charles Omenihu played very well. And then Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa was big time, and the Chargers devoted so much attention to him. They were chipping on him every play, whether it was a running back or a tight end. Bosa was commanding a lot of attention, and he was still pressuring Herbert, still got a sack on him. And then he had a nice tackle for loss on a jet sweep where, Mecole Hardman and the Chiefs ran right by him on the jet sweep. So it was good to see Bosa make that adjustment and come up with the tackle for loss this time.
All right. That was Bay Area Baller giving us his thoughts about what he saw that was good from the game yesterday. And I'll go first. What I thought was good was, the defense was flying all over the field. A lot of guys had great games. Fred Warner was all around the field. I think he led the team in tackles. I love the tenacity and physicalness that Dre Greenlaw brings to the game. I think I understand that the NFL wants, to have a safer product on the field. And, it's all about player safety. At least that's what they say. But I think it's I just feel like it doesn't make sense to eject a player for basically playing physical. I know it's hard to judge whether he intended on hitting the quarterback in that Justin Herbert in that play, but I just thought it was a fast bang play. I don't think Dre Greenlaw intended on hitting Herbert in his head. It looked like he was leaning in with his shoulder. But I know in soccer, I think they do they give you a warning, right? They give you a yellow card, and if you do it again, you get kicked out. I think the NFL should have a system like that just in case, because we don't know intent. We don't know intent, but I don't think Greenlaw would make that type of play knowing he could get ejected from the game. So I wish they would just give maybe a warning, and then if it's a similar play, okay, well then kick the player out. But I just thought it's overkill. It's overkill, that type of play where you inject a player, due to a physical hit like that. Also, who I thought was good offensively, obviously, Brandon Ayuk, of course, he was excellent. He had two, he had the fumble, he had the drop TD. But other than that, he was reliable for Jimmy. Jimmy was solid. He was solid, and I will shut up now and allow Kelts to go. I'm talking about too many players. Go ahead, Kelts.
That's all good, bro. It's like when we get rolling, hey, I'm listening. It gives me time to listen and think at the same time and absorb it all. But Bay Area Baller basically mentioned all the guys I mentioned this morning. The first unsung heroes I was talking about, I mentioned 3 offensive players actually, Elijah Mitchell, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Elijah Mitchell. Or wait, hold on. And Jawan Jennings. But then yeah, man, so we were on point right there, with those 3 guys in particular. And Jimmy, there was one huge play in where was it? In versus the Cowboys last year. There was that he threw outside the numbers to Jawan Jennings. I don't know if you remember that play, but I was just so excited. Like, man, I was like a bullet on the sideline, outside the numbers. Like, that's what I'm talking about, Jimmy. Like, but I was too excited because it feels like a quarterback should be able to hit that 15-yarder, that maybe 12-yarder right there, one-on-one on the sidelines. It's safe. It's not going to get picked. And it was on the money. But I was like, man, I'm getting too excited for that kind of a play. But we lightweight seen like at least like 3 of them in this game. It was like, hey, okay, Jimmy, if you can put that in your arsenal, if you can, roll outside, on the move and throw a dime to Ray, if you can, he hit Jennings. And then I'm trying to think of the third one where he hit, who was it? I don't think it was Kittle, but it was somebody. But I know he hit another outside the numbers, like just really nice pass. And the
Maybe
pass,
Ayuk.
yeah, the one to Ayuk too in the end zone, like that was a little like Ayuk gots to catch that ball. That's on Ayuk. But
Yeah.
the ball was just a little bit behind, but still it was right there. But when I watched it live, I was like, beautiful route. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's a dope route.
Crazy route.
Man, I love it, Ayuk. I love it. Oh my God, you gotta hold on to the ball. And then I think at the very end, I was like, Jimmy did throw it a little behind, but you gotta hold it. So and I still feel the same way. Like, but Jimmy didn't make the huge mistake. Um, and if Jimmy doesn't make those mistakes, man, he doesn't got to be spectacular. He doesn't really, if we're. But at the same time, you would like to see a couple of touchdowns passing. He did have some elite quarterback sneaks, which he's,
He,
which
he
he's
also had that throw to Ray McLeod. He threw
that
that
was
on
the
the
dime.
run. That was
Yeah.
that was
Oh,
the
yeah,
dime.
he got outside. Hey, there were a couple of times during the game where he got the happy feet, and I was kinda chuckling at it and kinda just like, "Oh my god. Oh, no. Oh, no. He looks to the left. He looks to the right." I thought he was gonna throw it to the linebacker, but he didn't, and I was hey, there was a play too in the red zone where he threw the freaking ball away. I was
Yeah.
like, "Let's go." That's
Yeah.
I'd rather see 3 points on the board because that could be a 10-point swing. Let's say we don't get those 3 and then they get momentum because they
They
just
get a
picked it in the
touchdown.
end zone. They got momentum, they go down and score 10. Just besides a 10-point swing, we get the 3, maybe who knows what they're gonna do. When you get those points, it kinda changes the outcome of the rest of the game, like, no matter how we look at it. So, man, this might be the biggest praise I've given Jimmy, and I
Oh,
hope I hope I could continue to give it to him. Hey, he doesn't gotta be a world beater. I did some research tonight looking at a few of the Super Bowl teams, both Ravens teams, 2000 and 2011, and then I also looked at some of the Eli Manning teams, 2 of the Super Bowl years. I looked at Brad Johnson and the Buccaneers. Who else? I think I looked at 6 or 7 teams. And I found out something interesting that majority of those guys had exactly the stats that are projected for Jimmy this year. Majority of those teams were at the best average offenses. Like, I mean, 15 and below. I'm like, so I start asking myself this, we all ask, hey, could we win a Super Bowl like this? Like, can we win a Super Bowl with 20 touchdowns and 12 interceptions? We can, but he has to do that in the playoffs, even if it is he doesn't have to light it up. But so far, his in the playoffs, he's 4 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. If he flips that to even if it's 3 touchdowns through the whole playoffs and 1 interception, we got a shot. It's
yeah.
just and he's starting to build games where he's limited in mistakes. Um, hey, if he could keep that going, man, that's I'm juiced. Hey, let's try to push for 6. Hey, if limiting your mistakes is a major factor, man, it gives me a little bit more confidence because he's starting to do that.
There was a stat I saw about Jimmy Garoppolo, and it said that out of 12 games where he has not thrown a touchdown at all, the 49ers are
Oh
10-2.
yeah. Oh man. Lord.
So
Hey.
yeah.
Hey man, I'm never gonna be that guy, bro. I'm never gonna be that guy. Like, if someone got something to say about man, hey, I'll call them out. Some people call it hate. I like to just look at it like, hey man, I want the best. I want to see the best of my team. You know what I'm saying? I want to see. I'm hoping. Sometimes I express it where it looks like hate, but really I'm hoping that they do better. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, but that's a hilarious stat, man. That's. I'm curious who came up with that one. You know, and they
Yeah,
put
but
it on TV. It was on
they put
TV.
it on
Oh,
TV.
oh yeah, it
Yeah.
was at the end of the
Yeah,
game.
at the
Oh
end.
lord,
Like,
that's
yeah,
hilarious.
that's crazy. But the bar is set so low for Jimmy is basically like, just don't mess it up. Don't throw an interception. Don't throw it in a triple coverage. Like, that's, but unfortunately that's because of what we've seen from Jimmy. We've seen it. You saw it. I don't know if you saw, but one of the best games of the year, Minnesota and Buffalo. Josh Allen, I think he had like 4 turnovers in that game. So, it doesn't matter how good you are, you got to protect the football,
Yep.
and you got to play sound football, and you got to make the best decisions when it counts. And Jimmy, when he doesn't turn over the ball, it puts us in a better position to win. And he it's best to play. The word, I forgot what the word it is. It'll come back to me. But when Jimmy doesn't turn over the ball, definitely puts us in better position to win. And that goes for anyone. That goes for as long as we don't fumble the ball. We didn't have a ton of penalties yesterday. I think we only had 5 penalties. I think the Chargers only had 1. So I'll take that. 5 or less. I'm down with that. That's only
Yeah,
about one time a quarter. I can live with that. I
I
can definitely
did
live with that.
notice there were a couple of times where I'm trying to think, was it false starts? There were a few times where I was like, hold on, that looked like a false start. That looked a little quicker. So yeah, the refs, I don't know, man. I've always had a little conspiracy theory on the East Coast and NFL and just the hate on California and whatnot. So, that's interesting. It'll be interesting to see that going forward. Just looking throughout the history with the 49ers and officiating, if it feels like maybe it happens to every team, but it feels like it happens to us a little bit more.
Yeah, I know Brendel had a few penalties on the offensive line. And yeah, I'm not sure what other penalties we had, but I know those for sure stand out. But I gotta say, what's good? We have a few new people who have entered the chat. JR Meadows, David McNew, Jag, Bryant, Niner Gang, Wolfcast, Randy, Grandizer 12. Appreciate you guys tuning into the stream and making contributions to the stream via chat. Jag, appreciate that $2 super chat. Hot diggity dog. Jag says, when was the last time a defensive player got ejected? I think I heard on the radio that 8 players have been ejected this season. I haven't seen it, but honestly, I don't really watch ESPN that much. I don't really watch the highlight shows that much. But yeah, supposedly it's been 8 players. But I think this is has there been another 49er player off top of your head, Kels, that's been ejected this season? I
I'm
don't.
pretty at this season for
Yeah,
the
in this
49ers.
season for the
I
49ers. It
I'm
might be the
pretty
first. Huh?
nah, yeah, I'm pretty positive this has gotta be the first, ejection. Man, I can't even think of the last time. I I'm just going I would figure it would be a Deshaun Goldston type or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Just,
Yeah, yeah.
man,
But
hey, did you
guys
get
usually don't hit like that anymore. You can't
yeah.
hit like that anymore. So
Hey, did you catch, Jimmy Ward's, comments, talking about, Herbert?
nah, I didn't see that. What did he say?
He said something along the lines, just I don't know, he brought an old school mentality, I'll show you I'll show you the clip at some point, but just, man, just talking about, uh, just putting Herbert down, like, when he was
Yeah,
running
yeah.
it, hey, just being a running back, like, "Hey, man, hey, don't run it then." You know,
Right, right, right.
just Jimmy being just Jimmy being Jimmy, but he's a straight dog though, man. I don't know, I just like those little, just when you see, that nastiness, just someone
Right.
that ain't afraid to say it regardless of what might come his way from it. It's like, hey, at the beginning, middle,
But
and end
that's
of
the
the day, when
mentality. Yeah. I was
you're a
just gonna say that.
defender
Yeah.
when you're a defender and you're in that position, that's your job, man. That is your job to, impose your will and make, offenses fear that, man, so I love to hear it. I just, I love to see it and hear it at the same time.
I completely agree. That's the attitude that defensive players have to have. I would rather have to reel my defensive player in because he's a little too aggressive. He might play a second after the whistle than to constantly have to get them up and ready for a game. And that's why I love, this defense and what it brings. And I just wish they had a better system with the, I just think it's overkill for the one play ejection. But hopefully, they try to negotiate that in the next, bargaining agreement. But we talked about the good. We talked about are the faithful encouraged or discouraged after this game. Now let's get into the bad. And Bay Area Baller was kind enough to let us in on his thoughts of what he thought was bad from the 49ers and Chargers game. And let's hear Bay Area Baller's thoughts.
Fellas, I think I've seen enough of the three safety look, or we need to reduce the amount of the three safety defensive formations we've been playing. I want, Sam Womack in the slot or put Demo in the slot. Let's get Jimmy back at free safety. Tashawn Gibson, he's a really good third safety. I think if he's your backup, you're sitting pretty because he was making some plays early on in the season. But I think it's time to bring a DB into the slot and put Jimmy back at his natural position. And then the last bat I got for you is special teams related. Mitch Wishnowsky had a couple bad punts going out of bounds early, and then also we had a punt blocked. So that's something we got to secure, right? Punt blocks are those can be game-changing momentum swingers. So luckily, 49ers still pulled it out. We got the dub. Shout out to y'all. Can't wait to talk to y'all next week.
All right. That was Bay Area Baller giving us his thoughts about what could be improved from the game against the LA Chargers. I'll start off first. What I thought could be improved. I just think we got to get in the end zone. We got to score touchdowns. Now, granted, Ayuk did have a drop touchdown, but I just think we have to finish drives. We're able to go on 10, 12, 14, 16 play drives, but we just have to get it in the end zone, whatever it takes. I don't know if it's giving Juice some carries in the goal line packages. Maybe TDP will help that game. Maybe he'll contribute in goal line runs. But we just have to, be more buttoned up. I think we were 2 of 5 in the red zone yesterday. So, it's less than 50%. I think we can be better than that. If we have 5 opportunities in the red zone, we need to convert on at least 3 to 4, in the best case scenario. But yeah, I think those are things. Red zone offense, I think needs to be improved. I think penalties we did fine. Yeah, I just think red zone efficiency, we got to be much better and actually, strike when the iron's hot and score touchdowns. What about you, Kelts? What needs to be improved, during this week and as we look toward Arizona next week?
Bang, bang. That was one of my 5 keys. I was really, really, did a little 5 keys. I see you reminded me about the 5 keys because I seen it on the What's Good show. I seen that on the cutback, and then so it made me think about 5 keys. And that was one of the major things was to score in the end zone. When we get down in the red zone, I think I mentioned something along the lines. I don't want to see Ray McLeod down there in the end zone. Put your best players on the field and just whatever you got to do to score, just make sure it's touchdowns. And so that's why I said initially when the game was happening, I was frustrated and it was disappointing. And man, my life looks pretty horrible, watching the game in real time because it was just like, oh my God, like, come on, like, what are we doing? Like, I wanted Shanahan to go for it and just, but I understand getting the 3 points. And hey, look, we wound up winning by what, six, even though we should have scored at the very end of the game as well. So we obviously have to score in the red zone. Um, we got to get touchdowns. That's all there is to it, especially when we're right there. Now, if something unfortunate were to happen, some penalties and then we get pushed out and something weird, but hey, we didn't throw the interceptions, is what it is. But we were disciplined. I'm trying to think of anything. We didn't get Debo the ball very much, but
Or Kittle.
or Kittle. I was just about to say that as well.
Yeah.
Yee, yee, yee. Yeah. Yeah, man. What up, Meadows? Hey, I'm pretty sure he did say it too about Mitchell.
Yeah. Mitchell would
But
have over 70 yards.
yep. Any other negatives? Hey, they were fast paced. They came out and punched us in the mouth. They counterattacked because another key to the game that I said was make Herbert uncomfortable. Blitz early if we got to. Don't wait for the second half. Like, get on them early. And so what did the Chargers do? Right out the gate, the Chargers go up tempo, fast pace. And I've been wanting to see us do that. And of course, it's not about what I want. Kyle's like, no, I'm a methodically just run it down your throat. If Kyle ever hoists the Lombardi, he's gonna say, I did it my way. Now what? Like, now what? Now what, y'all? Y'all already hating on me. The NFL's hating on me. Whoever ain't from Cali, who ain't rocking with the Niners are probably against us. So I think he's gonna have that mentality. Hey, I did it my way, like Frank Sinatra, and yeah, man. Hey, and I feel like you have to have a level of arrogance and pride, man. Sometimes I've given him some slack, I've really gotten on his case about that. But some of the best coaches do have that, you know, as long as he's got it balanced, you know what I'm saying? But the best coaches do have a little level of arrogance and whatnot and doing it their way. And I think that's part, so I wish I would see a little. I think it should be balanced a little bit. Every once in a while, go up tempo just to catch him off guard. I think he gets nervous to do it because of penalties or because, he did. I don't know, but I feel like that could just help rhythm. That's my thing.
I think they did go up tempo a few times when it was like 3rd and 1, and then Jimmy would do a quarterback sneak.
Yeah,
like they didn't go into a huddle, but I see what you're saying. How
like a half a
Chargers,
drive or a drive. Go for a full
Chargers,
drive.
Their first drive went all the way down.
Yeah.
So
For a half a drive or a full drive, just like, but then again, who knows? Maybe he's saving all these things that we hope he does, for when it matters most.
hey, hopefully we'll see though. Roberto had a question earlier on in the show. He said, what do you guys think about Marquise Goodwin with the Seahawks? Did he just take a nap while he was with us and get paid? I mean, I thought Marquise Goodwin, I think he had like one pretty good season with us, and then he dealt with injuries. I thought he possessed the speed. That was one of his best qualities, but it didn't really work out with the 49ers. It's good to see that he's playing well with the Seahawks. I'm just looking up his Marquise Goodwin stats. He had 16 catches, 217 yards, 3 touchdowns with the Seahawks this season. So I'm glad that he's having a successful season. His best season with the 49ers came in 2017, 56 catches, 962 yards, 2 touchdowns. I believe he led the team in a lot of receiving categories, and that was Shanahan's first year as the head coach. But I just think sometimes for whatever reason, depending on the situation, depending on the system, some guys will thrive in certain situations, some guys won't. I think first round pick of the Giants, Kadarius Toney, like he was traded to the Chiefs, and I saw him make a few plays with the Chiefs last week. So sometimes the grass is greener. It just depends. So I'm happy that Marquise Goodwin is having a successful season and he's able to stay healthy. And we'll be playing them in December in Seattle, so that's going to be an intriguing game. Did you have any thoughts about Marquise Goodwin? Do you think it just didn't work out? That's what happens, or do you think
I
he,
I think he did well. I think he did well for us, but
yeah,
it's not like he's over in Seattle just like lighting it on fire. You know what I'm saying? I feel like um, what he did here is similar to what he's doing there.
yeah,
And like you said, he had injuries. He had some off the field stuff. Prayers out to him. Still, you go through some of the things he went through, and it's
right,
pretty tough. And
yeah,
hey, it just brought back memories when he did score that 80-yarder, and he dropped to his knees, and that was a really dope, kind of emotional moment to watch.
yeah.
And yeah, man, hope all the best for him until they face us, and we just like completely shut him out like to the fullest.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Going through these comments. Let's see. AI4IT. What's good? He says, great move. Need to get prepared for that altitude. And I believe he's talking about in Mexico City for the Monday night football game against the Arizona
Mhm.
Cardinals. Yeah, and I think the Cardinals, I'm not sure if Kyler Murray will play. I know he missed last week's game. But honestly, I think the Cardinals could be one of the most dangerous teams in the NFC West, at least when it comes to playing the 49ers. They beat us last year, and Colt McCoy started one of those games. I don't know if you guys remember, but they
Yeah,
always play us tough. They play us tough. And I know the Cardinals have not met expectations so far this season, but they are still a dangerous team whenever they have Kyler Murray. They have speed all over their defense. They got pretty good wide receivers, DeAndre Hopkins. So, yeah, it's not going to be an easy game for sure. It's going to be a very, very, intriguing game. That's for sure.
yeah,
Um,
Colt McCoy. That's all I was thinking about the whole time you were talking. When as soon as you said, I don't know if Kyler Murray's going to play. Like, hey, we
you're
were.
like, it don't matter.
Hey, look, he could sit on the bench for however long, and I think he did pretty well versus the Rams. It's just I kind of, you know, hey, he's a really really good backup. I'm surprised, he never has. I know he's had a couple of chances. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? To I think maybe even New York or
I
what?
think he was drafted. Wasn't he drafted by the Cleveland Browns? I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
think
but
I
it
think
just didn't
so. I
work
think
out.
so. But
Yeah.
it's it's yeah, hey, he's a really good backup. So it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting, especially Mexico City. That's cool. Isn't that the first game in Mexico City?
I think the Niners have
Or
played there before, and I think the
okay,
Raiders played there either last year or the year before. But I think they always have
okay,
at least one game in Mexico City every
okay.
season, I believe. So,
Yeah, man.
but yeah,
I'm excited for it. Hopefully, hey, they always play us tough, but
yeah,
who knows?
and
Who
it's gonna
knows?
be a special game, special show for us because next week, right after the game, we'll pretty much be going live. At 8:15, or we might, I don't know, maybe we'll go on sooner and we could all watch it together and talk about the game. I don't know. We'll talk about that this week, but we'll be fresh. Instant reaction to the 49ers and Cardinals game next week. Make sure you tune back in with us. I think it should be on Bay Area Baller 18's YouTube channel next week. So that's going to be an exciting game to react to the game instantly. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Should we get into the pick'em games, Celts?
Let's do it. Let's do
All
it.
right, let's do it. So, on the straight out of the Bay crew, we like to do pick'em games. We pick 4 games next week, and we like to figure out who's going to win those games, who's going to lose those games. Do you have the updated standings, Celts?
I do not, man, but
Okay.
it shouldn't take me too long. So I mean,
Okay.
I could kind of do this math and
Yeah, no worries. I'll keep it going. AI says there was a lot of Niner fans in the Germany game. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there were fans all over. And I believe that was the first uh NFL game in Germany. So obviously the NFL wants to expand the game and obviously they're able to fill those stadiums. I don't think the NFL will be doing this if you had a 60, 70,000 seat stadium and only, 10 to 20,000 people would go. Like these stadiums are filled to the brim. A lot of people, across the world love the NFL game. So I think it's pretty cool that, they're playing in different countries and, different continents. So I think that's pretty dope. Jag says the Commanders upset the Eagles, like John Madden said. That's why they play the game. Yeah, I mean, I did not think the Eagles would lose this game. I thought it would be close. I thought because it's a divisional game. But the Commanders, they played tough. They ran the ball down Philly's throat. They won the time of possession. They didn't turn over the ball. Like that looked like typical 49er football. You run the ball down their throat. You sprinkle in a skosh of passes. And, Philly, they had too many turnovers. You can't win the game when you have turnovers like that. So goes to show, man, any given Sunday, that's for sure. Let's see.
Absolutely.
Niner Gang Wolfcast says JG does really good in 2-minute offenses, so a hurry up will probably be good. No, I agree. I agree with that. Like it seems like he plays better when he can just pass the ball freely. You spread him out 4 to 5 wide receivers. Seems like he plays well like that, but it's not really Shanahan's idea of offense. He wants to run the ball, win the time of possession, and do things like that. So, huge shout out to everyone that tuned in to the stream tonight, whether you, commented in the chat. Make sure you like, you subscribe. I appreciate it. Let's see. Ready?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, so starting Bay Area baller, he is 23-11.
Okay.
I gained one game on him. I'm 21-13. Amin, he is my bad. Amin is 14-14.
Okay.
And it was a rough week for you, Jay. It was a really
Did I get any of my picks right?
you went 0-4. I think this might be the first time on Straight Out of the Bay someone has accomplished the 0-4.
0-4. I know one of my games, I think I picked the Cowboys to beat the Packers. I know that was one of them I can remember off the top of my head. But
yeah, the Cowboys, Rams, Bills, and Seahawks.
Yeah. Wow. Bills, I mean, they should have won that game, man. But you never know. That goes to show you, man. You never.
Yeah, me and Baller picked the Vikings, and then I picked the Bucks, Vikings, Cards, and Cowboys.
Nice.
But Amin was the only one that got the Packers, and then yeah, man. So then you're 14-20.
Ooh.
But hey, man, it's a long season. You know what I'm saying? Game by game, it's all for. Maybe we'll do push-ups at the end or something on video.
Exactly.
Hey, man, so hey, we could get into the games.
Okay, let's get into the first game. We have a AFC West division rival game. We got the Kansas City Chiefs heading down to SoFi to take on them good old LA Chargers. Who you got in this game? Who wins and why?
Hey, man, when the last time they faced each other, I mean, that thing came down to the wire, I'm pretty sure. I know it was earlier in the season. Of course, the Chargers probably had a little bit more momentum. They had a lot more health. So everything's going against the Chargers right now, but the Chargers are at home. And then on top of it, I've seen, the Jaguars went into LA, the Superchargers, and mollywopped them. I mean, like 38, just beat them bad at home. So there's no reason why I want to pick the Chargers. I'm not even going to play with this game. Sometimes I go outside the box, but yeah, I got to go Chiefs on this one. Got to go Chiefs.
And I think the Chiefs, the Chiefs beat the Jags last week in KC. And now the Chiefs have to go to LA. I think I would rather bet on Mahomes and Kelsey and that team over Herbert and the Chargers. So I think I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to win on the road in the AFC West division matchup. Let's go to the next game. We got the good old Dallas Cowboys heading to Minnesota to take on the Minnesota Vikings. I'll go on this first. I think the Cowboys had a disappointing loss against the Packers last week at Lambeau Field. Now they have to head to the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings got a huge win. Probably some are saying it's the best game of the year so far. A lot of things happened in that game to the Josh Allen turnovers, Justin Jefferson one-handed catch. Captain Kirk Cousins, he played pretty well. I would take the Vikings at home to win. I think the Cowboys will be really motivated though to win this game. I think it'll be close, but I think the Vikings will win at home against the Cowboys. Who you got?
Yeah, everything, man. This reminds me of a old school 1970s matchup or something, man. I know it wasn't alive back in those days, but you know, I try to watch as much history as I can on the NFL. The Purple People Eaters. I don't know if you ever heard of them or
Oh
not, but
yeah.
yeah, old school defense. And then man, who else? Just I don't know. I feel like they had some battles back in those days. So regardless of that, man, everything's telling me to pick the Vikings. And I don't think the Cowboys are a pushover, kind of like, how I'm kind of looking at the Chargers right now, So I think this is the underdog. God, man, doing these picks is making me not hate the Cowboys as much just because I'm trying to win these picks. So I ain't even looking at the hate that I got for the Cowboys, but maybe man, doing this these pick'ems is changing me a little bit. But anyways, no love for the Cowboys, but I'm gonna pick them just because I feel like they can roll up there and win, man. They might have a
Right.
bitter taste in their mouth. They already got used to playing in Wisconsin with that weather. Maybe they had to get used to the being outside of the dome for a minute. I'm gonna take the Cowboys.
And when I think about this game, could the Vikings be in for a letdown? They get a huge victory versus the Bills. Could they either think they're two better than they are, or do they think, oh, we've just beat the Bills, like we good. We just got to show up against the Cowboys. It'll be interesting to see what Vikings team shows up, but I'm gonna still take the Vikings though. But I still have that in the back of my mind. Could this be like a letdown for them? Next game, we got them good old Chi-Town Bears heading to ATL to take on the Falcons. Who you got in this game, Kelts?
Hmm. I feel like the Bears have been close. Justin is playing well.
Yeah.
And I feel like they barely lost the both times. I feel like they finally get like that kind of moral victory for the team, just being close the past couple weeks. That bittersweet for Justin and whatnot. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Bears on this one. And it feels like the Falcons. I don't know exactly what they've done the past couple weeks, but it feels like they're starting to revert back to just not playing very well.
Yeah, I mean, the Falcons are at home in this game. I do like what I'm seeing from Justin Fields. He's being very productive, whether it's running the ball, and he is developing as a passer. Marcus Mariota has been solid this year. I don't think either team is really going to be, a playoff team this season, but at home, I think the Falcons might be a little bit better with Mariota. And I think Mariota will be a little bit better than Justin Fields in this game. So I think I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons to win at home versus the Bears. Our next game, we have the New York Jets going against the New England Patriots, an AFC West division game. Looks like this game will be in New England. I'm taking the Patriots. Bill Belichick, excellent defensive mind, one of the best defensive, coaches in the history of the NFL. He just disguises things on defense. He makes these younger quarterbacks make them look silly when they're out there. And he's done it several times this season, and I think he'll do it again against Zach Wilson and the Jets. I'm rooting for the Jets and Salah, especially when they're not playing the Niners. But going up against Bill Belichick, I think they'll have a few interceptions from Zach Wilson in this game, and I'm taking the Patriots at home to win. Who you got?
Man, this one is a toss up for me. I was almost gonna do a little research just to see. Man, but I feel like everything you said about Belichick, it's hard for me to see the Jets win versus Belichick in New England. But then I gotta think about the other team as well. I gotta think about, hey, this isn't the same old Jets. Robert Saleh got these guys playing. Sauce Gardner, and just to name one guy, but who Quentin Williams, it feels like they got a strong D. It feels
Yeah.
like they're running the heck out of the ball. It feels like, they're kind of taking a page out of the 49ers book, which, by no surprise. So I'm going to take the Jets on this one, but I was almost swayed being at home, Belichick and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm going to take the Jets. And one thing that I really thought about, I just wanted to touch on this real quick, because ever since you said, me and you had a little back and forth a while back about the opponent. And it's easy for fans to forget about the opponent, man. And that's another reason why I feel more encouraged about the 49ers as well, is because, and I forgot to say it earlier, was because, hey, we got to remember, people are being super quick to be like, oh, the Chargers ain't S. The
Right.
Chargers are not S, but they are 5-3. They do got a arguably top five quarterback. They got a clue just because they're injured, man. In the beginning of the year, we were talking about they were Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah.
They're not no slouch. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we're so fixated on our own team, we forget there's an opponent that's getting paid just as well, trying their heart out. And so credit to them. And one example about the credit to the Chargers was um, the fumble on Ayuk. Like, that wasn't even Ayuk's, that was just a great Charger play. A lot of people
Right.
could be like, oh, he fumbled it. It doesn't matter. Hey, now it's a great play by the Chargers. We gotta, hey, I know it. We're so wrapped on our team, but you know,
The other team gets paid too, man. They get paid to
they
make
get
plays.
paid too, man.
They have heart.
You
They
know,
have dignity. This is what they've been working for since they were playing pee wee football,
their
and they're gonna give all they
livelihood.
got. I mean,
Yeah, man. And they got kids.
yeah, exactly.
Most of
So
them. Yep.
exactly, man. But hey, this hell of a show tonight. Straight out of the Bay. We plan on having the entire crew next Monday night, right after the 49ers and Cardinals game. Amin the Dream, Bay Area Baller 18. I'm looking forward to chopping it up with those guys again next week. Always have a ball chopping it up with Kelts Chronicles, of course. Make sure you subscribe to Kelts Chronicles on YouTube if you haven't already. Just a quick ask you, what do you got planned for this week on the Kelts Chronicles YouTube channel? Do you have any shows lined up? Let the people know. Are you doing shows? You doing pregame, post game, or obviously post game? Are you doing pregame for the game? Are you broadcasting the game like you did in last week's game? Let the people know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing a show um tomorrow morning. I'm gonna be on the Ryan G. Hensley show. Wednesday, I'm gonna be on Niner Sickness's podcast, and we're gonna do a show, Last Man Standing. So tomorrow, 8:30 in the morning, Ryan G. Hensley. If y'all don't know him, he's a 49er content creator. He talks about other stuff as well too. Super cool dude. Niner Beto, pretty sure you guys know him, but we also do it with Peter Lucas from Niner Fanatic
Yeah.
podcast, I believe it is. And then we got Forever Faithful, Chris Polo, and am I forgetting anybody? Myself and Beto. Yeah, so we got that on Wednesday, tomorrow morning. But then I'm gonna throw in a show. I'm gonna start doing a show every week, man. Just doing some reflection. I might come up with some other kind of an idea. Maybe I might try to uh find every positive I could find and try to encourage the faithful, because I know it's easy to see the 22 points and get a little discouraged, so who knows? But I'm going to drop the link. Fans could come through, content creators. I don't care who it is, when it is, how it is, as long as there ain't no weird stuff going down,
Yeah.
and there's a level of respect. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man,
Absolutely.
Celts Chronicles come through. Yeah, man, I'm gonna start doing more lives. I get a little sporadic with it. Last week I did the play by play, you know, um, Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do it before the next game, and probably do a Cardinal preview, and then yeah, man, I think I'm a few subscribers away from 700. So,
Nice.
so yeah, man, that would be nice to hit that. You know, it's a lot of time and effort goes into this stuff. You know, and at the same time, it's dope, man, to just connect with the faithful, connect with the family, the community, just all of it, man. Just because hey, man, this wasn't a complete plan to even start my channel. It was more passionate. Hopefully, someone could hear what I say because I think I might have good ideas and I care about the team. And, and then I get to meet dudes like you who's, just, becoming a friend and whatnot, or you already are, you know what I'm saying? And it's taught me a lot. It's taught me a lot. You know, it's therapeutic for me. A lot of people tune in because it's therapeutic for them. It's just
Absolutely.
dope. Sometimes I said it this morning as well. Sometimes we take for granted that we get to hop on this computer and, whether it's New York or Germany and the 49ers are worldwide. And it's just, it's humbling. And sometimes I just reflect on it and just remember, back in the day, we used to have to go, in some of my hardest days, even as a kid, uh, you know, um, I might do it a little confession, but there were a time or two where I had to snatch up a Sunday paper, man, to get my information.
Right.
As a little dude, man, I was gonna read my sports one way or another. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man,
That's sporting green. That's sporting green.
yes,
That's
sir.
what I remember. Cause yeah, but back then, we didn't have cell phones. There was no we
Yeah,
could hop on ESPN or whatever.
or
We had to
create your
read.
own YouTube channel
I
and
know, right?
just all of it. It's dope,
There's
man. So
barely even internet back then, so like
real talk. What was it? AOL and
yeah.
MySpace and
Oh yeah.
uh, what was I bringing up? Oh, man, what did we have back in the day? The party line. You had to call a place to talk to people, and then most of the time you're just screaming. People are screaming at each other or doing some weird stuff. So
Do you
hey,
remember the box?
the box. What is the
You
box?
it was like you had to call in and request a video to be played, like a music video.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm put,
I remember that. Quick story. This was back. I was like probably 6 or 7, and I didn't know how that worked. I just thought, oh snap! I see Bone Thugs and Harmony. I see Crossroads. Like I see that, and so I would call the number. I see it, and I would just keep calling and requesting. I didn't know you got charged for that. Like so. So I called
uh,
that number like 10, 12 times, and
woo,
then yeah, I got in trouble. But yeah, I didn't
mom,
know.
mama was hot, huh?
Oh
Mama
yeah.
was hot. Oh
But those
man.
were the days where you could just hop on YouTube and search for anything you want or music or whatever. So
Nah, it was the real struggle. We had to go, hey man, anytime I went to the library, I was straight to the NFL section. Straight to the
absolutely.
NFL anytime at the library or DVDs I could get my hands on or just but yeah, books. And I don't even that's the only thing I could read, when I was a kid, man. When I was a kid, it was hard. If I wasn't interested, I had that ADHD. I would have to read it 5 times to comprehend it. But sports, oh, I was on it. It was
It came natural, man.
yeah, I was very selective with my information that came in. But yeah, man, it was so that's what's happening on Celts Chronicles. And it was cool to chop it up a little bit besides football, man. I might even start
Absolutely.
I got a little idea this morning. I might start doing something if I could get my wife to do it. Start doing something combine some food and some sports. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. I'm always thinking of ideas.
Absolutely, man. It's always good to create
Uh,
and to get your thoughts and ideas out there. But look at OYG. He know what I'm talking about. He said the box for music videos. He says I was the only one requesting first of the month by Bone Thugs.
the thuggish ruggish bone.
Yeah, I know. Thuggish Rug. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, but those were the days, man. But man, hell of a show tonight. Oh, you can tune in to Jay in the Bay. If there's any 49ers latest news, I try to get it out as soon as possible. I will be having a 49ers versus Cardinals preview with the Cardinal Rule this Saturday night. So stay tuned in for that if you want to get an insider's look at the Arizona Cardinals and what they're going through this season. I think the Arizona Cardinals are going to be on Hard Knocks. I think if they're not already on, I think supposedly in the second half of the season. So stay tuned in for that. But huge shout out to everyone who tuned in tonight, whether you contributed through the chat, super chats. We appreciate you, and we'll see you guys next Monday night. Go Niners.
Let's get it. Rise up. Yee. We getting it, boy.
What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay.
Your baller back again. Smells like football season.
Yo. Whoa, whoa.